If you're watching this, you're watching the replay. Mons from Norway has a beautiful mustache. What a live we've got tonight. Should be going live here with MJ Johnson, who is one of the judges. And I see he's on view request with Razor Hater. Here we go. Should be coming up. Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Wait, hold on. Let me do this. What's
No, we'll
going
do
on,
that.
brother? Can you
How's it
hear me
going?
good?
Yeah, everything's great.
Excellent. Now, I did send you a little sheet earlier, so that way you would have some of the questions I saw in the story. But
Yeah.
let me introduce this guy down here. This is MJ Johnson, also known as Razor Hater. He is one of the judges for this year's National Beard and Mustache Championship, Casper, Wyoming, November 12th. So I'll let you say a couple of words about yourself, maybe, and
Yeah.
then about nationals this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great introduction. Happy to be here. MJ Johnson, four-time national champion, world champion, beard and mustache. I'm a resident judge now at the national championship, so I don't compete anymore there, but this will be my third year in a row as a nationals judge. I rarely compete at all anymore. Usually if I'm going to a contest, yeah, I usually end up judging. And so I really like it. This year it's going to be super cool. 50 categories. Are we just talking about mustache here today?
No, we'll cover some of the other ones, but I definitely wanted to pick your brain
Focusing.
about some of the mustache stuff tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite categories for sure. One of my best friends of all time in competitive bearding is Jackie Lynn Ellison. And just incredible mustache. I think he won two or three world championships for Imperial mustache or handlebar. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the mustache category, absolutely. And
And
the
that's how your
questions,
journey started, right? You grew a
yeah,
mustache as part of your
yeah,
Halloween costume.
yeah. I started out. Well, I saw photos of the 2009 World Bearded Mustache Championships, and I was like blown away. I was like, whatever I got to do to just be in that contest is all I really wanted at first. So I wasn't ready to go full board into partial beard or beard. So I started with mustache. I won the Minnesota State Championship, and I was pretty stoked on that. But my biggest mustache win ever, have you ever heard of the music group Cake?
I think so. It does sound
Okay, well, they
familiar.
had a song in like 2012 called Mustache Man, but they had a nationwide contest to find the mustache man, but I ended up winning that
That's awesome.
contest. So I've got tickets to their concert. They got a limo for me and took me and four of my friends out to dinner and drinks and the concert and backstage passes and
Oh,
all that
sweet.
stuff. So I was like, there's a lot to this mustache stuff.
Yeah, yeah, there is. So nationals this year is going to be held in Casper, Wyoming.
Yep, that's going to be Casper, Wyoming, November 12th. Like you said, we November 11th. We also have a like a 5 category exhibition contest as well. But the national championships, where you can win a national championships, are on the 12th for sure.
And you
But I'll
said
be
there's 50 individual categories, and this is mustaches, beards, and creative, right?
Yep, yep. Craft beard, mustache, partial beard, full beard, and then craft. Between all those, there's 50. For mustaches, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mustache categories
Yeah, a new one
plus,
is Uber Stash.
but that's kind of like a partial beard in my
Yeah,
opinion,
because
because you
you
can,
can do the soul
yeah,
patch.
yeah. So it's in the mustache-ish category, but it's actually a partial beard, I think.
So, the National Beard and Mustache Championship does take money in for the tickets and the competitors' fees and everything. What does that money go towards?
That goes to the charities. This year, every the national championships moved from city to city around the country. We have like good connections with charities, but we like to tap into the network that we make there to get recommendations from charities that they love, and they came up with 2 that are just killers. One is Project Kenny, and what that is its shortest form is they get a service dogs to veterans. But what's really interesting about it is they get the service dog they get is a Kenny dog, as they call it. So they train the dogs and then also get the dogs to the veterans, but then also pay the veterinarian bills and then continue to pay the food bills for the pets and then continue to pay for any training as well for the dogs.
Oh, wow.
So it's a really big deal for for the veterans. But then also unaccompanied student initiative is students 18 to 20 years old who are homeless, and they help them in a multitude of ways. So
that's awesome.
Some pretty good charities.
Do you have any numbers on previous year competitions as far as money raised?
It's usually in the like 10,000 plus, but and then over that sometimes. This year it's going to be it's interesting to see because the national championships go along with the Booze and Bacon Fest.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
So the ticket is together. So we're kind of like coming together to make that the charitable donation. So it'll be interesting to see what it is this year. But that's a fun factor for sure too. Booze and bacon and beards. So you're at the national championships, and at any time you can get samples of whiskey, and then all the restaurants and chefs make bacon inspired dishes. So pretty cool.
Popped out my microphone in.
Yeah, that's the type of news that'll knock your earphones off.
It will.
I've been there.
I usually don't put the headphones in, but in case there's any background noise, like it used to be, if I did a dual live, my audio dropped completely out. So I was hoping this would to cure it. Because one of the questions that had come up in my story was, is this just going to be an all day, all night like drinking fest? Is that
it usually is? In its best case scenario, it usually is.
So I know this is the Beard Champ, right? Beard Champ USA National Beard and Mustache Championship. Is this like the #1 championship? Are there other championships? Because there was one that happened in Utah a few months back, and I was chit-chatting with a guy, and he's like, I'm the national champion for mustaches for, like 2022. And I was like, well, I think there's a different one. So
right.
is there a ranking order? Is there a council of bearded and mustache men that say these are the top competitions?
Well, the national championships are these ones. Whoever wins this is the national champion. The other one is we're super good friends with the Great American Beard and Mustache Championships.
Okay.
And it's a completely different contest altogether.
It's like AFC versus NFC when it comes to like football, right?
I recommend going to both.
Yeah.
I go to both. I didn't go this year, but I go to every other one that they've ever had, and it's a fantastic contest for sure.
Yeah, I saw some of the photos out in, I believe it was Utah, and it was a beautiful venue. So,
Cosmo Hop says Highlander competition in December.
There can only be one. Yeah, you gotta. So I'm gonna throw out a couple of my questions. Then there was a couple questions that came in through the store. Then we can definitely chit chat against different things. Some of my questions come from other people that I've talked to when I tell them about the nationals, and some people have asked, like, do you need to pre-qualify it like a regionals or states?
Right.
And I'm like, no, it's open to everyone, and this could be your first competition to go to. But a lot of people will ask me, do you win money? What's the cash prize award? And you don't win money. No. But I know for me, it unlocked a lot of doors for me, being able to say that I competed. Plus, it was a great experience to do it in person and the online version. So you're a judge. When it comes to beards and mustaches, is more length a better mustache, a better beard?
It definitely can depend on the person and depend on the category. Like, let's say, I've seen it before, like the English mustache, let's say, is known for having an extremely long out to the side. But at the World Championships, it's definitely not always who has the longest one. It's who looks the best. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen the longest one not even place top 3, and I've seen the longest one take first. So length is a huge factor, but it's not the determining factor, I guess.
Okay.
in any category.
So another one I had put out, I actually went and found myself. I got myself a little cheat sheet. How many mustache categories? So there's natural mustache, styled handlebar mustache, English mustache, Dolly, Freestyle, and Uber. So natural mustache.
And
So
groomed.
yeah, I want to go through. Did I skip? Oh, that's what I did. I copied styled handlebar mustache in twice instead of groomed. So on natural mustache, real quick, judges will be looking for natural mustache with no styling aids present. The mustache must not begin growth from the skin at a distance further than 3/4 of an inch beyond the corner of the wearer's mouth. Any length of mustache hairs are acceptable. So I put that one down because I know one of the questions I was going to have a little bit later was prejudging. Some people don't understand what prejudging is, and I always try to describe what 3/4 of an inch is, and no other hair is allowed below the, let me put my paper down, the corner of the mouth. So the 3/4 of an inch doesn't go down, it's more out from the corner of the mouth where you're drawing hair. Now, obviously up here, I've got a little more than 3/4 of an inch, but where they measure is from the corner of the mouth. Because I know some guys will draw hair from way out here.
Yeah. No.
And if they do that during prejudging, they either have to fix it or go to a partial beard.
Yep. Exactly.
And I wanted to ask you on natural mustache, you cannot use any styling aids. So no waxes, no pomades, no hairspray, but you are allowed to use beard oil and beard balm or beard butters. But you need to make it look more natural. Like this is just beard oil and beard balm. I have used a little bit of heat and rolled it like this. Would this be something that would be allowed in the natural category, or should it look more natural? Like
nope, you'd be good to go with that. Yeah, anytime you want to allow, one of the things the judges look for, they can look for is health. Or like mustache health. So if you have like a conditioner, like an oil or a beard balm, that's it's not necessarily recommended, but it helps you out, and it's definitely legal. But anything that is like considered a styling aid, and there's descriptors of what a styling aid is on nationalbeardchampionships.com. If anybody's looking for like a real further set of rules, yeah, that would be. But yours would be considered a natural for sure.
Because one of the things when I did the West Coast Classic is I tried to ask them are hair rollers, which I use. Oh, here we go. Hair rollers. Is this considered a styling aid because I'm using it to style my mustache for the natural category? They said no, as long as it didn't have a closed loop. So this is an open loop. A closed loop would come all the way around and attach.
Yep.
So I definitely wanted to ask, because you're a judge, and some people ask me, well, natural mustache versus styled. So, and I didn't have the grooming, but in the styled handlebar, expected to have a single open curl or loop on both sides. We talked about the 3/4 of an inch, no, all hair growing from more than, and this wasn't specifically in the natural, and I didn't see it over the top saying for mustache. I think last year and the year before, it said no other facial hair is allowed. So it's kind of implied that 3/4 of an inch beyond the corner of the mouth, all must be shaven. So you couldn't have a soul patch. You couldn't have a goatee. I had big sideburns, I think, last year, and you were like, yeah, you may want to take those down because prejudging, they're probably going to tell you. And so no other hair other than the mustache. Now, if I had like 2 days worth of beard growth, would that be a ding considering that I should be shaven?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the like you said, some people have questions about prejudging. So prejudging, you don't get a score whatsoever. What it is you have to qualify for your category ahead of time. And it's a way of making an even playing field for everybody, and then having a specific legal growing area, as I like to call it. So some people draw a mustache from out in their cheek, and then it's not fair to somebody who has like a legal mustache.
Right.
And so we like to keep it, some prejudges are more strict than others, but like Gandhi Jones, do you know who that is?
I probably have seen them or met them. I'm horrible with
Yeah,
names.
he's like 2 or 3 time world freestyle mustache champion, and he is the strictest prejudge you will ever
Oh,
meet,
really?
especially with mustache. He'll send
Yeah,
you
yeah.
right to the bathroom. Everything has to be like perfect. But he's really helping people because he helps them understand their own category or gets them into the right category, which is another thing about prejudging that people don't understand. They think like if they don't qualify for their category, they're just out,
Yeah.
but they're not. They have time to fix it,
Mhm.
or you'll get help from the prejudge to get you into the proper category, and you'll still be able to compete. But even like
That
the high end people like Ben Juergens have come in like a multiple time national champion from 2009 and 2010. He came in with had perfectly styled handlebar mustache, but it was too far out, and even he had to go shave back down and restyle everything, and then
yeah.
pass prejudging.
So that brings up another question. I know the answer, but it was brought up.
Sure.
It was we hit on it. I think I saw it twice in the story, and it was kind of framed this way. How do you get started in a competition? But the second part of it was, can you compete in more than one category? I know I had asked this before, and you said,
Right.
no, it's one category. No matter if it's one category is in the beginning and another's at the end, you're only allowed one.
You got to pick one and go for it, and that's some states have contests where you can enter as many as you want, but for sure for the national championships and
Yeah.
for the world championships, it's one category. So you have to pick your best one and go for it.
And if I remember right, let's say I'm entered in the say English, and I get there and I go, you know what, I want to change my mind. I want to do the style, or I want to do the Dolly. I can change my mind.
Yep.
Would it be on up to prejudging or up before the category starts?
For prejudging would probably be your last chance
Okay,
to
to
be
change
able
it,
to
because
qualify
yeah,
for a category.
you get your card, and they write your number on,
Yep.
and then that gets passed along, so you know how many people are in each category.
Yep. And the other thing that prejudging does is it allows the actual judges to just not worry about if that person qualified for the category or not.
Okay.
They can just score. You know what I mean? So it really
Yeah.
helps out the actual winning of the competition based on the judges' scores.
So to finish on styled handlebar, we were talking about the hair. No regulation on length. Any and all styling aids are permitted. So you can use wax, you can use hairspray, pomade, you can use a combination of all. You won't get dinged on it.
And real quick, why that's important is this differs from the World Championship rules because they don't have the handlebar mustache category. They have the Imperial mustache category. And in the definition, it says short, bushy mustache. So like some of the WBMA judges would say yours is too long to be in the handlebar mustache category. But we don't think that should be the case. If somebody has a super huge one, but it's still in control, they should be able to use that.
Excellent. And then for styled handlebar, the Hungarian mustache would be in this category. So I've always tried to nail down the definition of what a Hungarian is. I've seen variations to it, and I've seen Hungarians tell me this is what a Hungarian is. Now, are they allowed to draw hair from a little farther out? Because for a normal Hungarian, but if they're in this category, they couldn't. Because I've always heard they can pull just a little bit further out.
They're not supposed to, but it is a wild category at Worlds. Like especially if World Championships are in Europe, the Hungarians come out in droves for that category.
I gotta make it. I gotta make it.
You gotta make it. They bring cowbells. You think I'm making this up? I'm not at all.
No.
Like these like gigantic painted cowbells. And then when it's their guys' time to go, there's just ringing from the audience. It's just like a raucous category. I love it to pieces.
So those who don't know, Worlds is going to be June 9th to 11th in, I think it's Bergensheim, Germany.
Yep.
I don't know if I said that right.
I think that's accurate, but it's going to be, I went to the World Championships. Last time it was in Germany in 2013, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, I missed out. I think it was it Belgium a few years ago? Yeah, I missed out on that. It was so sad. So the next, another category for mustaches would be which I forgot to paste in, is best groomed. And if that's anything like it was last year, that's where the Imperial mustache went. And symmetry was one of the biggest things, or not biggest, but symmetry was a huge part of that category to be judged by.
Exactly, which is really fun for competitors if they're not looking to have like the longest, hugest mustache possible, but they're actually like fantastic and excellent at control, grooming, shape, coming out, let's just like looking perfect for shape. As Arnie Bielefeld, one of my favorite competitors, likes to call it, precision. Because some people, they just want to have one style and keep getting better at it and better at it, and you just dial it in and you have like perfect precision. So that's where that was kind of headed.
And then the English, a narrow, slender mustache with the hairs extended outward from the middle of the upper lip. Tips may be slightly raised. Hairs growing from beyond the corner of the mouth must be shaved. Styling aids are permitted. And so I've seen the two main styles, straight out. And typically what I've seen is there's a small little part in the middle to distinguish the two sides. And generally like my mustache, I think, is too thick for an English. And they look like they use about 3/4 of the upper lip. And that's where it starts to go out. And I know from making Englishes myself, my hard part is getting them to start at the same angle. Sometimes they'll be like this. And so for me, it's very frustrating, but I do appreciate it. And mine's long enough that if I lift my arm, I'm always bending the ends up.
Yeah.
And then, so the Dolly. And I was reading this earlier, and I'm glad I did, because I've seen some guys, I think, that may be shooting for the Dolly, but if they read the description, they may need to do some adjusting. So the Dolly mustache, slender with tips curled upward, hairs growing from beyond the corner of the mouth, must be shaved. The tips may not exceed above the level of the eyebrows. And I've seen some guys that are making Dollies that are going up here.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's another really interesting category that they don't want it totally based on just length. You know what I mean? Right. It can be really long, but it doesn't have to be.
I don't think it has to be straight up, but it goes on a bit of an angle. It's not looped out, and with the English, it's not a very prominent curl. It's a slight bend if you look at it. And I mean, these guys, it goes from here to like about there, not, way up here. That wouldn't necessarily, it wouldn't look like a very good English.
It's really interesting too. A multiple-time world champion. It's actually like kind of a shorter one. But the other thing that he does is he takes this top part completely off. So it's just like it's like a pencil thin mustache on the top, but then like perfect precision diagonal angles out on each side, and it looks just awesome.
Yeah, Troy, who won last year at Nationals, I had first seen him online and convinced him to compete in an online competition, and he placed very well. I think he placed third, and then he went to Nationals, and his first time he won a winning. I think he trimmed his off, and he's not competing this year. I'm so sad, but it was a beautiful mustache. But same thing, he took his way down to where it was almost like a pencil, and then it only went to about here, I think it was.
It's super cool.
So the freestyle mustache, and that's anything that doesn't fit in the other categories. So quad loops, triple loops. I've seen people make birds, music notes, all kinds of things. Free design, styling of the mustache, not meeting criteria for other categories. Then talk about the shaving from the corner of the mouth down. Styling aids are allowed, but additional structure materials like wires, rope, lumber are not permitted. So anything put in that would hold that freestyle shape will not be permitted.
Disqualified. Yeah, people think freestyle and then think anything goes. Yeah, and that's super not the case at all. Like somebody had like metal around the back of their head, and like holding it up. And it's like it's gotta be. Yeah.
It's got to be the mustache. I think one of the craziest freestyle beards I saw was the guy who made the entire bird cage with the opening door out of his like beard, and
Yeah,
it
that's
was
fake. Yeah.
that was wild. That was
Yeah,
wild.
that's fake.
Oh, BSC Enterprise says Troy right now is sporting the Vincent Price style pencil mustache.
Ooh,
Excellent.
I really like that style too.
So the last mustache is the Uber stash, and it says this mustache must not begin growth from the skin distance further than 1.5 inches beyond the corner of the wearer's mouth. And I'm imagining that's kind of in a line like this
Yeah,
towards the ear. So 1.5, you get twice the distance that you
that's why
would in
it's
a
a
regular.
partial beard. Yeah.
All growing hair from more than 1.5 inches past the corner of the mouth must be shaved. The mustache hairs themselves have no regulation on length. The soul patch is accepted, but not like a goatee. Because if you're going to
Yeah.
have a goatee and you're going to have kind of a long mustache, then you're going to be in the musketeer or partial beard category.
Yep. This one, it's kind of an interesting category. The soul patch accepted came about because somebody is looking to make a gigantic partial beard just in the shape of a mustache.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So when like you go like this, you have a little extra juice down
Yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
excellent.
it's a fun category, but it's definitely not a mustache, I don't, in my opinion.
So my goal is to try to inspire other men to grow mustaches. Beards are beautiful, partial beards are beautiful, goatees are beautiful. But I know from my experience standing at nationals last year, there was only 4 of us in the style handlebar category. And you look over at the beard categories when they came out there, you're talking 30, 35 guys. And they
Yeah.
were all beautiful beards. So I'm hoping to see more men in the mustache categories. And this brings me to another part is people don't realize, yeah, there's a lot of beard categories. You know, your different lengths for the naturals. You've got your whaler, your donger, all the different partial beard categories, the musketeer, you know, all of that. With mustaches, you've got like the chevron and the walrus, and you've got the pencil mustache, you've got the toothbrush mustache, you've got the petite handlebar, you've got the dolly, you've got the English, you've got the you know, handlebar, freestyle, natural mustache. And so a chevron is much smaller. A walrus is longer, but doesn't go much past the corner of the mouth. The pencil mustache is that thin mustache. The dolly is like a thin pencil mustache with a little, and it doesn't have to be big. It could be like that big. English mustaches, as much as you can take it out. So I'm trying to tell other people, like, don't compare your mustache to my mustache, right? Because if you have a chevron, they're 2 different mustaches. Mine and a chevron, they're completely different.
Yeah.
You could be a national mustache champion with a chevron mustache, you know, if it's, and I guess that's leading me to my question. When the mustaches are judged, right? Let's say I'm in the natural mustache. What am I being judged on? Is it just a mustache? Is it the quality of the mustache? Does it fit me? Is it my outfit? Is it my attitude? How I present myself?
All of those can contribute. None of them is a definitive one. I like to say it's all of like everything that you mentioned, like health of it, health of the mustache, shape of the mustache, color can make a big difference. How it fits your face, how it goes along with your outfit that day. The crowd's reaction could benefit you in some scenarios, but I like to say it's all of that added up, and the judge is going to pick who is the most fantastic that day. So it
So
all goes into it.
one of
And
the
like,
questions, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
or and if why all those things kind of go into it. Let's say it's something that's really close, like it's a really close call between like 2 or 3 people. You know, one of those other elements might be the one that gives you just that tie break. You know what I mean? So put everything you have into it, but none of it is going to like guarantee you a victory.
Right, right. And that's what I was trying to tell people is like, you don't have to have this big, massive mustache.
No.
You could come in, and if your mustache is just tight and you're giving off a good energy and you put a little thought, I mean, you know, if you wear a holy shirt and you're meek and you're just like, I'm here with my mustache, versus someone who at least, put on a clean shirt and they're, interacting with the judges and all of that, then you'll
Well,
probably
like
score higher.
take Toot Joslin for example. He's one of the judges at this year's national championship. He's a 2-time world sideburns champion. Dude rents an old time sheriff's outfit from people that put on plays and stuff. Like he looks like he's from 1910.
Yeah,
He's got the spurs that jingle jangle. He
Yeah.
walks across stage. I'm telling you, it's really intimidating.
Yeah.
He's lassoing people in the crowd. He has the best sideburns, so he would win anyway. But you were talking about the top ranked player, and he goes all out on top of that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that brings me to one of the questions that popped up in my story that people ask. Are there any credentials needed to be a national beard and mustache championship judge? Like, is there a college that somebody could go to, a schooling, or is it based on experience or something of that nature?
It's based on experience, but it's also usually we want some like local flavor as well. Like we'll have like a local master barber or somebody local with just like an awesome beard or mustache. Or we actually have some art professors from the University of Wyoming that are going to be on the judges panel this year as well. So, but you do have to, once we've accepted you in, you do have to go through a little bit of, I wouldn't call it training, but there's like
boot camp.
There's a little bit of a boot camp, so you know like what to look for and that type of thing. So, Excellent. But no, it's we like to have an open status kind of for. There'll be some like super experienced people. Like I'm a resident judge at nationals. I'm a judge every year, but I have as much experience as anybody on the planet when it comes to beard and mustache contests. So we don't need 7 of me.
Right.
What we need is like real people that think beards and mustaches are awesome. So
yeah. Let me see. So I went over style versus natural. We went over the mustache categories. Is length better? Do you win money? No. What are you judged on? And we kind of talked about that because I think one time you and I were talking and you said it's almost like a 3-part for whether your beard, mustache, or what have you is your facial hair, how you present it, and what you present it in, right? And we were talking kind of about it's not any one of those, but, bring your A game because it could just be that little bit of a difference if 2 of you look really good that separates you out from the
Plus,
other people.
Another really good way to look at it is if you see, and I've seen this a lot, let's say somebody comes to their first ever beard contest or first ever national beard and mustache championships. They'll go there like, what do I do? Like there's all these questions that we're talking about. I've had them. My first national championship, I didn't even know what I was doing. But now you compare that to that same person, now that they got a flavor, they got a taste of it. Watch what happens the second time they come.
Yeah.
Watch what happens the third time they come as they become more of a veteran and they have like more time to put a little bit of their own juice to it or a little bit more thought to it. You start to see a pro mustacher develop. You know what I'm saying? Like you can compare it to other people there, but you can also compare what you do to what you did the first time you were there, and you can see that development. You can see the on-stage persona. You can see them having more fun. You can see them going up there with some intent.
Yeah, being relaxed.
It's pretty cool.
I just love being there and seeing everybody with facial hair. Somebody had asked, I think they just joined, how many categories total, beard and mustache? I think you said there's about 50 categories.
There is, but if like there's nobody in the category, we like to open it up for, we like to celebrate people's facial hair. We like to see like, what do you got? Let's see it. If there's nobody in the category, it gets bounced. You know what I mean? So that the total number we won't know until maybe even the day of, but it'll be in the 40s or possibly 50.
And so with mustaches, I think we said natural, styled, best groomed, English, Dolly, Freestyle, and Uber. So 7 right there. I think for nationals last year, there was 3 mustache categories. I think there was natural, there was styled, and then there was the best groomed. Because I don't think
and Dolly.
And Dolly. I don't think we really had anybody doing English, and we didn't have anybody doing freestyle. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. But of course, I was like, "Yeah, look at me." So another
Costa Rica.
Another question that came out that I don't know if we can answer it vaguely is, what are the category requirements? And definitely, if somebody had that question, go to the national website, which if you go to Beard Champ USA, the link is right there in the bio.
It's in my bio as well.
In MJ Johnson or Razor Haters bio, you can go there, and I think in the upper left is a spot to open the menu, and you go down and look at categories. And then it's got a not a description. It's got a blurb up at the top, and it tells you different stuff. And then you can go to the actual category and read what it says about the category. And one thing like this is almost all of these have 3/4 of an inch from the corner of the mouth until you get to the Uber stash, and the Uber stash says 1.5 inches. And so
more room.
Mustaches, at least, what they're talking about is no hair below the corner of the mouth. So all of this shaved. And the prejudging measuring is usually from the corner out this direction, not down this direction. You're allowed 3/4 of an inch out to here. And so they take measuring tape and all that and go through. Now, I forgot to write this down, but this is definitely going to be one of my questions. Last year at Nationals in Scranton, Pennsylvania at the Montage Ski Resort, you had prejudging, and then right over here was several barbers. So if you get there and your beard category was 12 inches and you were 13 and didn't want to go to the 12 to 18, you could walk right over and the barbers would trim you up. Is there going to be anything like that this time in Casper?
Yeah, I mean, that's just it should be something that you can feel confident about. Like, there's a barber, most of the time it's a master barber, like you said, a few feet in the other direction. And these guys, they know that it's the national championships are on the line, and they are 100% confident in shaving or trimming anybody to get to any specs, even with like a national championship on the line. So you're not going to be left out in the cold. You can do it on your own, of course. A lot of people like to do their own grooming, but there's barbers on site as well. So
now, what I will say, and maybe you can back me up on this, is for anybody out there with facial hair, if you go to anybody, to include a master barber, always tell them exactly what you want done. I've had so many people that have had facial hair, they go to a barber and they say, make it look nice. Well, your make it look nice and what they think makes it look nice, completely different. There's been dudes that have lost 4 to 5 inches off of their beard, and they're like, what did you do? And they're like, well, it looks nice now. Well, not to me. Well, always convey that. I had the wonderful opportunity to stop in Scranton, Pennsylvania on my way back from New York, and met back up with Mike, who was one of the master barbers from last year.
Great.
Went to his shave shop, and he was cutting my hair, and then he gave me like a shave, and he's like, you want me to do anything around the mustache? So I'm like, look, dude, I trust you, but I'll take care of that right now. So I had my daughter's boyfriend like recording the video, and he wanted to clean up around here. He's like, do you trust me? I'm like, yeah. I said, but record the video, because if something bad happens, I at least want the footage.
I'm gonna need that video.
Yeah. So another one of the questions we may have answered already was, if you win one round, do you change your style for the next round? One category, no matter what it is, you get one. Like, I can't do natural and then hit myself up with some hairspray and roll right over in the style handlebar. It's one category, no matter what your facial hair. Another question is, and I'll let you talk to this definitely because you're a judge and you have competed in nationals, worlds, is, do they differ, the national competitions and European competitions, UK? Because I know worlds is separate, and there's a lot of competitions that happen in Europe, maybe on the same level as the nationals.
Yeah, it's definitely it's kind of based off of like WBMA standards, but a lot,
And that's the World Beard
World Beard
Mustache
and Mustache
Association.
Association. Yeah, but we even have different categories, like let's take the Fu Manchu category, for example, which is a partial beard. It looks like a mustache, but it's
It
a
looks like the
partial beard.
Hulk Hogan mustache, right?
Well,
But a lot
yeah,
of them is
that's
really long.
the Hulk Hogan is the legal growing area. It's called a horseshoe mustache for that. WBMA has it where the Fu Manchu has to be skinny and has to point directly down. Whereas like Great American Beard and Mustache Championships, you have to pass prejudging for the growing area. But do you know like what Sean Rager's mustache looks like? Do you know who that is?
No, but Dave, I forget his last name. I think he has either chops or he does like a Fu Manchu.
Oh yeah, where you can style it out to the side if you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's some have a little bit more leniency, and WBMA can be a little bit stricter. And like we said, they don't do handlebar mustache. You know what I mean? They do Imperial and Hungarian, whereas we would do handlebar and best groomed.
Yeah.
There's definitely big differences.
Okay. So this one I think we can both kind of answer. And that is, what do you touch up your mustache? And they might have been talking about yours as well. So for me, mostly if I'm styling, I will do a dry mustache and I'll use typically a mustache wax. There are guys who like to use the hairspray on their fingers. Some use pomade. Some will do a hybrid, or I call it a hybrid. You put a little wax in and then you go over it with a hairspray. Today, I'm doing beard oil and beard balm, and then I used a beard straightener to heat it up and hold the hair over to kind of give it these curls so it looks like a natural handlebar.
Right. For me, I'm hairspray only. If anybody's seen, just Google search MJ Johnson beard. There's a million photos online. If you see what it looks like styled up, if that was wax, it would be so much wax. It'd be unbelievable. Plus, it would be too heavy. Plus, it's way too hard to get out if you use that much. So for me, I blow dry it with a hair dryer just to get it all volumed up and a little bit straightened out. It's all hand sculpting and hairspray after that. The hairspray is lighter, works perfect, and it washes out easier for me than a wax would.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one time I did a little bit of pomade and I tried to put rollers in because, pomade will do your hair a little bit. But I think like with yours, as far as the size of it, that if you tried to do pomade, it would not stay out.
No, I've actually tried that before as well.
Yeah, have you ever heard of someone using Elmer's glue? I have, and I've seen people doing it. And from what I understand, it holds and it comes out easy with water. But I like to go with the mustache waxes that have the natural ingredients of beeswax, pine rosin, gum sap, and then the different oils to cut it.
I saw somebody take third at the World Championships with Elmer's glue for a mustache category. So, yeah, that definitely works. If you do that, I would recommend like a week's worth of treatment afterwards because your mustache soaks whatever you put on it up.
Yeah.
So for health's sake, like one of the things I like about your channel, Bob, is like how many different beard oils and balms that you expose people to. It's very healthy for your beard. So if you're going to party with Elmer's glue for the sake of a contest, it's gonna work depending on what you're looking for. But after that contest is over, maybe just get down with some beard oil and beard balm for a little bit and get that guy a break and get him some juice.
And that's one of the things I try to tell everybody is like, I share what I use and I share my journey. I share how it affects me because I know there are some people who they don't have to use a beard wash. They can just use head shampoo and they never have the dry skin. I know I had very, very dry skin. So when I first started my journey in 2018, being dared to grow a beard, which I wanted to compete with, I may I may grow it back at some point, but I'm a couple of years older now. I don't think it'll be as blonde, but it was funny because everywhere I looked, it was like, I know there's beard competitions, but I couldn't seem to find any. And then once I got into, got the door open, it was like Fight Club. I'm like, why aren't you guys talking about this stuff? It's like everywhere.
God. It's great. I did a TED Talk actually for the University of Minnesota. And what they wanted it to be was, after we talked about it, how my beard or mustache became a passport to the world. Because after they saw like all the stuff that I got done with just like the beard and mustache, they wanted to hear all about it. And it's like you said, once you get your foot in the door, it's open. All of a sudden you have let's say you're just traveling and you go to a city and you go like see the sights and that stuff, and it's really cool and that's fun. But when you're doing the beard and mustache stuff, you go to a city, you might have 5 to 30 friends in that city now. Plus you have an event to go to.
Yeah.
That's like this huge party, and your mustache or beard is your passport to get in.
Yeah.
And you can do it for life. I call it adult recess.
I was surprised last year when I went to nationals, I was like fangirling, right? I'm running around here. It's like, oh my God, here's this person. I do that all the time. Yeah, I'm like, here's this person that I've been watching for like 2 years. They came up to me and were like, oh my God, can I get a photo with you? I've been following you during your entire journey. And I'm like, what? So that part was definitely pretty cool. So we've had several people who have joined late. To kind of recap, nationals this year is Casper, Wyoming, November 12th, but November 11th will be the exhibition. It's also going to be co-located with the Bacon and Booze
and Bacon Fest.
Booze and Bacon. So that's awesome. Can you discuss? Yeah, and I'm going to let you talk about some of the beard categories. I just wanted to try to catch some of the people up that got in here late. MJ Johnson is one of the judges for this year's competition. So I wanted to pick his brain and try to vomit at him a lot of the questions people ask me. And I thought, well, what better way to educate myself other than to invite him to do a live with me? So OIF Brewer, he wanted to know, can you discuss the standards for natural beard? Because is it just natural beard, or is it natural beard with certain lengths?
Well, it's an interesting question, because there's natural beard, which is just beard oil, beard balms, and that's it. But those are totally legal. But any hairspray, that's considered cheating. It's you should get discoed right out of prejudging for sure for that, because it adds like volume, and since the judges don't know that, they might think it's just this like afro gigantic beard, and it's mostly hairspray. So that's heavily frowned upon, and you're probably going to get discoed for that. But keep in mind, there's natural beard styled mustache categories.
That was the one I wanted to do.
Yeah, so the beard has to be, totally natural, but it's a styled mustache, so wax and hairspray are totally allowed for the styled mustache. And that's actually one of the top best categories that there's ever been. The winner of the styled mustache full beard styled mustache category is usually a total gem.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of guys in the competitions I've been to during the beards, they will run their hands through in front of the judges. And I think part of that is to show, look, I don't have anything in it, but they're opening it up to show a little bit of quality. And then maybe what we can do is we can quickly run through your mind what you expect to see when someone goes in front of the judge. Because I know they tell you real quick while you're lined up, here's how it's going to work. You're going to go up on stage, and as you do, you're going to see a line of judges. This time, you're just going to go up, you're going to walk in front of them, and then you're going to pass by. That's not the time that you stop and spend a lot of time. You will get that individually. OIF Brewer said about the natural beard, specifically, where does the natural beard start? Is it top?
Eyebrow, or like your eye pretty much over. top of the ear might be a little bit high, but like we're under that, like right about here, so like your eyelid over. If you go under your ear, that's considered a goatee. Like that's like where the, like you could be in the goatee category if you shave all the way down to underneath
underneath the ear. And then you got to go up against people like Aaron Johnston and just.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah, no, I don't. So you're going to be a judge, and you're going to be sitting most likely at a table, whether it's mustache, whether it's beard or whatever. If I was to present to you, how do I do that the best way possible? I know some categories, they lift their beards up. Am I going to show you underneath? Is it just straight on? Is it best if I turn? Same with the beards.
The best, I've said this to you, so the area by the ear can be trimmed. Yeah, it can be trimmed. Yeah, for sure. It doesn't have to be, you can trim any part of your beard and it's still considered natural.
Right, but if you're missing.
But down to the skin, that's a different category.
Yeah.
So, but the best way to present to a judge is a really interesting question because everybody's going to bump into it. But it comes back to one of the things that I like to say to everybody in almost any category in life. The best we can all do is be our genuine selves. So when you are up in front of the judge, be your genuine self. Like if you're the type of person that wants to show them every single aspect of it and talk about it, do that. Be your genuine self. If you want to be a little bit more reserved and a little bit more modest and ask them what they want to see, then you should do that because anything goes up there when you're presenting to the judge. But if it's like really fake, it's not going to be fun for you, and you can kind of see it a little bit. So have just like but then after you do it, remember what happened. Right. And say, oh, I wish I would have done this. Or next time I do it, I'm going to try this. So when people say, do you have to win other contests to be at the national championships? You don't.
No.
But it helps. Join a local contest first, and you'll find you get some experience out of there that'll totally help you.
And it's a lot more fun, It's
more fun.
It's not like you get a pass or failing grade or detention if you don't place in the top 5 or what have you.
One of my other favorite sayings is there's a lot of ways to win at a beard contest, and there truly are. Like you can win your category, you can place top 3, you can make a whole bunch of friends, you could join a new club, you might get sponsored, you might learn something new, an idea might pop into your head, you're going to donate to charity, you might pick up some cool merch. I mean, you just traveled to a new place. There's a lot of ways to win, and so if you go in with that attitude to a local contest first, or just get to nationals right away and start with the big show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to win.
So will you talk about some of the different beard categories and some of the things that are different? Because I know there's like the whaler, the donger. Some categories require that you have more of the neck cleaned up, I think.
Whaler is for sure a partial beard.
Right, and whalers no mustache, and it's generally the beard part. But there's whaler, donger, and Amish, unless they just put them all in together.
Sure. The like I have it up here right now for Donegal. It's italics that underline tight. So keep that in mind. For the Donegal is a tight, well-groomed beard, no mustache, shaved upper cheeks. It's similar to C. Everett Koop, if you know who the former Surgeon General. So the Donegal, it's not the ZZ Top of whalers. It's supposed to be like a business beard basically for a whaler or an Amish beard.
And then explain a business beard, because I think a lot of people think, to be in a beard competition, I've got to have a beard I'm tripping over.
The lingo is hilarious, Smitty. That's a good point. I laugh about it myself all the time. But the business beard is really interesting because I'll go up to somebody randomly in life, and they'll have like a really nice beard, and I'll say, hey, that looks super sharp. And they're like, oh, thanks. And then yours is really cool too. But they end up talking about like like they've seen me before or something like that. So they end up talking about like the national championships or world championships. I'm like, oh, cool. Are you going this year? And they're like, no way. I can never compete with those guys that have been growing for 6 years. And I'm right. You won't compete with them because it's a completely different category.
Yeah.
So if you have like a really sharp looking business beard with like a just a short length, but it's dialed in, that's your own category.
This is live technology. Yeah, it is. Didn't I want to say, I'm trying to remember whether it was Nationals in 2020 or maybe it was the West Coast Classic, but the best in show was a guy with like a business, I think, beard. It looked sharp, and I think he won.
Then you win.
Yeah. So you have beards with mustaches, beards without mustaches. There's chops.
I mean, let's check out. I got it open right here.
Yeah, if you want to read down them a little bit so people can understand how many beard categories
so this is just partial. This is partial beard. This is what I like.
Partial beards, stuff I like goatees and stuff, do not go above the ear. So you could have hair all the way out to almost where the sideburns would be. You're just missing like sideburns.
A minimum 3-inch gap between the bottom of the ear and the goatee. So ours is a little bit stricter. World's is, I think, right at the ear. Ours has to go down a little bit more. But in general, like partial beards, natural goatee, but then it's broken down natural goatee below 18 inches and above 18 inches. So like we were saying, you don't have to go against Patrick Dawson if you just started growing your goatee out. Natural sideburns, Fu Manchu, Musketeer, Donegal, Whaler, Shenandoah, goatee freestyle, sideburns freestyle, partial beard freestyle. So
and that's all. If you have a goatee, not a full beard, those are all different categories you could be in. Some with mustache, some without. Yeah. Sideburns. You don't have to have a mustache. You're being judged on.
And it's interesting, like going back to the question about what differs from like some of the U.S. championships versus the European ones. The European ones usually have a category that I placed second at in Worlds before, the Imperial partial beard. It was my favorite beard at first.
Which is the one you have probably the most photos of, right?
Well, sort of. That wouldn't qualify. It's too big to qualify at Worlds for that one. So I just do partial beard freestyle now. So that's like a big difference. For Imperial partial beard, you can't go above your eyes. Your beard can't. And mine's way past that.
Yeah.
I would never make it through prejudging for that. So partial beard freestyle just kind of lets you do what you want. So that's parts for the fun. So those are some of the partial beard categories. But then we get into full beard, and this is wild. I mean, that's if you know who the creative director of Beer Team USA and Nationals is Brian Nelson. He's a star of Whisker Wars. He's won 1 million contests. He's also the president of the WBMA.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's very, very familiar with the rules of the WBMA. But he also has a super awesome full beard. You can look up Brian Nelson beard online. It's a super red beard, super duper long. And he's adamant that the full beards get a lot of different categories for a lot of different lengths. So we're talking about full beard groomed under 3, full beard groomed 3 to 6, full beard groomed 6 to 12, full beard groomed 12 to 18, full beard groomed 18 to 24, and then over 24. So that's seriously broken down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
So
and that's just length.
So people understand on the length, where is it measured? Is it the bottom of the lip to the longest hair, right?
Right.
So if you have one strand that's 24 inches and the rest of your beard is 18, you'll be in the 24 or longer category.
Or you're going to be cutting it.
Yeah.
And that it isn't to crash on anybody. It's to keep legal growing area and legal lengths to give everybody a fair shot, for sure. But then you go into like these are actually 2 World Beard and Mustache Championships original categories: full beard Verdi and full beard Garibaldi. And those
Yeah.
are very, very
The
traditional.
Verdi, I think, has you have a little gap right under here.
It's a shorter beard and then a styled mustache,
Yeah.
kind of basically named after like I believe Verdi was a music and opera composer. And then the Garibaldi is interesting because it's supposed to be like a rounded beard. And here's the kicker: your mustache is supposed to look integrated with your beard. So you can't separate it. You can't style it. You can't have a handlebar. You can't even like you want it to blend in and then be part of that circle. Like if I ever did a full beard category, I would probably do that one.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really cool. And then we go into the full beard styled mustache categories, which we talked about, where it's a natural beard, but then for the mustache, as much wax and hairspray as you see fit.
And for those of you joining late, natural beard can have beard oils and balms, but it cannot have any type of styling aid. The mustache on that, the natural beard with styled mustache, can have styling aids.
Yep, and in this full beard styled mustache category, you get it broken down again. So it's full beard 3 to 6 inches, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, 18 to 24, and 24 and over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different length groups.
Yep.
So you don't have to go against somebody with a 3-foot beard if you have a business beard and a really sharp styled mustache. And then the full beard natural, no styling aids whatsoever. Again, less than 3 inches, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, 18 to 24, and over 24. So again, broken down into 6 lengths so everybody can get in where you fit in there. And then, of course, full beard freestyle, where you see people turn it into bird cages or
lots of circles. It's Joe, right? Joe, the world champion.
Did he Joe, the world champion?
Well, he came with us on the live shoot for nationals last year. I think.
The world champion is Jason Kiley. I think you were thinking of, but they look a lot alike.
Who came with us? And
Joe Farrell.
Yeah.
Joe. Yeah, he's awesome.
So somebody asked real quick, do you guys use waxes or hair gels? For me, if I'm going to style it, predominantly I will use waxes. Today I have beard oil and beard balm, used a little bit of a straightener. MJ, obviously with his length, is not going to be using waxes, so it's more or less hairspray. How does you may get to this, how does the competition define groomed beard?
Well presented, I believe, is the definition on the website. So like if you come in looking like you just got out of a nap, you're probably not going to do too hot. Whereas if the groomed categories, you probably a lot of people hit it with like Bob likes to use the straighteners, so it's
to take care of those flyaway hairs.
Take away our flyaways, and then you have like a perfectly trimmed shape. There's a lot of ways to do it, but well presented is the definition given to the judges. So basically you're looking for somebody who's like a craftsperson who really took a lot of care into it, and you're not looking like Grizzly Adams or like you just woke up from a nap.
Yeah, there's a guy I follow now whose beard is it has such a beautiful shape. It comes out a little bit wide and then comes down into almost like a shovel down at the bottom. And you see some guys with a really long beard, you'll see where it kind of sticks out here and then it kind of jets straight down. And to me, that the beard that looks, like that, I think is maybe presented better than if you had like loose hairs over here and then the rest of it went straight down.
And then and in contrast to that, like full beard natural, it should kind of be presented how it grows naturally. So somebody who is a little bit gnarlier, I believe is a word that's used well, or is looked on well in this category, would do better in natural than maybe groomed, or like groomed to be manicured a little bit more, whereas natural is like people will literally show up in a t-shirt, and if their beard is that gnarly and rocking, then they're probably going to win. I've seen it.
Yeah. So you were going through some of the beard categories. I I don't think you hit anything on the
Crack.
chops.
That's
And that would have been in partial beards.
Yep. So that's for chops. It's considered natural sideburns would be one way to do it, and then sideburns freestyle. So the sideburns or chops has a natural category and a freestyle category.
So that means hair could grow from here all the way down onto the chin, but there must be a
4 centimeter gap.
What?
Like a 4 centimeter gap on the chin. Like your chin has to be shaved.
From chin all the way down, right? No hair can connect.
Right.
Just want to throw that out there because chops can look really, really nice. And I guess the sideburns can go down. And
how we have it on the site is 1.5 inches across the chin. And then on your neck as well. It has to be that
all the way down.
Size gap.
It's been a lot of good questions. We've gone over the hour mark. Is there
seriously? Oh wow.
Yeah. Are there websites to get yourself out there for contests? I live in Connecticut. Okay. So in my bio is my drum page. In one of my featured pages towards the top, Aaron Johnston put together a website that he logs all of the contests he comes around, and they're listed by calendar date. And you can go through and see and click on them. And I think it says it says what state it's in. And so you may see one in Connecticut or see one it's close by. I know there's ones going on this weekend. I think like Tennessee, there's Pittsburgh.
There's one every weekend for sure. Yeah. That's the Aaron Johnston's is a really good resource, probably the top resource. Another fun one, if you go to beardteamusa.org, you can sign up for the newsletter, which comes out different times throughout the year. We like to highlight contests in advance, and you can kind of see if maybe one is in your area. Might be a good way to check it out as well.
So don't fret, though. If there wasn't one in your area and you think of a cool venue that might have one, put one together.
Yeah.
There's no defining rules that say you must do this. I would say do best beard, best mustache, right? Find somebody that will maybe supply you with some prizes. Maybe do, a first, second, and third. I would say for beard category, look for beard oils and beard balms. And then for mustaches, you might want to look at somebody that has mustache waxes and mustache combs. And it's a great way to get out there, raise some money, find it. And you don't have to, but typically the competitions raise money for some type of charity. I did one at a brewery in Charlottesville, Virginia, and we donated all the money raised to the University of Virginia Cancer Center for prostate cancer research.
Excellent. Another good thing to do, like my first, I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The first ever beard contest that I went to was in Austin, Texas. Just find one anywhere, take the time off, travel, and get it done. The best thing you can do is step outside of your comfort zone, and sometimes that involves stepping out of the state. So try to get to a local one if you can, but if there isn't one and you have time off and you have a way to get somewhere, even if you don't know anybody.
Oh, you'll know people as soon as you step in. And people are friendly. It's not like you get there and another bearded or mustache person is going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to help you. I know I will help anybody, and I see the beard guys helping anybody. So, if you get down there, you're like, I'm having issues, somebody will try to help you out. It's a great community.
I like to say it's kind of like a car show sometimes, whereas like whoever brings something cool, it helps the overall show. Yeah. And kind of that's how a lot of people look at it. So if you just go to a contest and you're one of the competitors, the other competitors want to see you there.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, they're helping out the contest. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping is to see a lot more. Because I see beautiful mustaches here and there. And like we were talking about, I'm like, oh, my God, you should totally go in a contest. And like, oh, I would never win. You don't know until you go there, and your chevron could win versus, my mustache, so on and so forth. Is there anything Really awesome. You guys are the best. I've been following you guys for a while. Freaking love the community. Hell yeah. Is there anything that you want to share with anybody, not only about competitions, but about the Nationals in Casper, Wyoming, November 12th, with the uh, booze and bacon? Did I say it right that
Booze and
time?
bacon, booze and bacon and beards. Yeah, it's the first time that we've ever had the national championships coincide with another event at the same time. So this is actually going to be really interesting for me as well. But yeah, it's in a rodeo stadium that hosts rodeos on a regular basis. We got a jumbotron, which we're redoing as the Jump Beardtron for the weekend. Adam from American Mustache Institute is the MC of the event. Have you
Oh,
ever met
he's
him
awesome.
before? Oh my
Yeah,
God, that guy's
yeah,
the best. He has
yeah,
the best vocabulary, best knowledge, best information, best charisma.
yeah.
And that's the guy, and he's the MC of the event from the American Mustache Institute. So it's going to be ridiculous.
So the last couple of years, nationals, other than 2020, which I think it was just all done online, you tend to try to broadcast it live. And then later it is on the YouTube. So anybody that wants to go back, you can go and watch the previous national competitions and watch the entire thing. And you can see some of the facial hair that comes out there. You can
Yeah.
look and see the way the guys go on stage, present themselves to the judges, so on and so forth.
Plus,
This year, are you going to do it as well?
We believe so. It'll either be live feed or it'll be all collected and then edited into like a program or something like that. But did you win the 2020 online one as national champion for handlebar mustache?
First ever. I about fell out
People,
of the chair.
yeah, the people should go watch that one. That was actually edited by a TV editor who's won 8 Emmys. So like the production level of that one is actually awesome. So if you want to look up the 2020 National Beard and Mustache Championships, it's a really fun watch and you'll learn a lot.
Yeah, and it was cool too because I think more people had the opportunity to compete without traveling. Because I think there was
Yeah.
one guy who was in like Austria who had a beautiful mustache who competed. There was people who had sent videos from their living rooms or their bathrooms or whatever from like Texas and Colorado. And so I think we had like 7 people were in the styled handlebar category that year.
Yeah, that was awesome. You did really good.
Yeah, I about fainted because I'm like, because there was a script I think you went through, and I remember rehearsing it and going through it, and I'm like, okay, this is the part where they say act excited. This is the part where they say clap. This is the part where you're like, oh no, right? So it got down to the top 3, and it was Josh, myself, and the other gentleman, and all of a sudden it shows Josh and the other guy with these numbers, and I'm in the background going like this, and they're just clapping, and I'm like, wait a minute, what part was this in the video? I don't remember. I'm like, I must have done so bad. I didn't even get a number, for a score. And then they're like, first place, Robert Baker. And I about fell out of the chair. I was trying to record it, but I fell out of the chair. That was pretty awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, quickly, yeah, I would like to add one more thing. I don't know if you've been to nationalbeardchampionships.com lately, but we did add the competitor gallery. So you can go click on competitor gallery and see 2015, 2016, 2019, and 2021, all competitor photos from Greg Anderson, our official.
Yeah, Greg Anderson takes amazing photos.
Yeah, and so you'll anybody that even competes and takes the time to get their portrait taken is permanently in the archives on National Beard and Mustache Championships.com.
Yeah,
which is actually another way to win at the contest because your modern man handsome or modern woman handsome is archived for life.
and that's another thing that I wanted to talk about is when you get to the creative, that the mustache and bearding community, predominantly you think of men, but there is a huge, amazing artistic ladies that compete, and children and men who sometimes compete in the partial creative.
Yeah, it's a showstopper. I mean, if one of my favorite things about it is if somebody's never been to a beard contest before, and then the craft beards come out, they're like, "What is even happening?"
Yeah.
It'll be like a beard made out of bacon, teeth,
Bottle caps.
bottle caps.
I saw one where it was chopstick
Joints.
mustache, and it was a sushi boat like goatee, and I was like, "Who thinks of this?"
Yeah, Legos, pets. I mean, it's wild. You never know what you're gonna see. I mean, you truly never know.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Do you trim your mustache ends every week? No, I do not trim mine, but maybe 2 times a year. And that's like, I could trim it now, but I'm like, Nationals is next month, so I'll wait. Maybe I'll change my mind the day of the competition, or maybe I won't do anything.
I usually trim mine almost every time I style, just because it's so crazy that I like it a little more even. So I do trim mine quite a bit.
So yeah, with the creatives, you have realistic mustache, right? It looks natural, and there are requirements like it has to be made with hair. So like alpaca or llama hair, and then you also have a realistic beard category where it has to look like realistic hair.
Right.
And
I have the category of the realistic mustache, which is, like you said, it's supposed to look like a real mustache. Creative mustache, which is anything goes. Realistic beard, creative beard. Attached natural craft mustache. That's when somebody takes their actual hair and brings it to the front and shapes it in the shape of a mustache. And then attached natural craft beard, which is your own actual head hair fashioned into a beard. That's hilarious.
yeah, I've seen some ladies with really long hair that they pull. They've made like the Gimli from Lord of the Rings beard, and it's all braided and stuff, and it looks really, really cool.
Plus, one of the other fun factors is one of the reasons Nationals is in November is because of Movember, and one of the and a lot of places are looking for Movember related content. So anybody that goes to Nationals and ends up in like Greg Anderson's portraits, you never know where those photos are going to end up. It's super fun. Like Sports Illustrated, CNN, CBS.
Guinness Book of World Records.
Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, I missed out. Like when they showed the picture, I think it was 2020, but it came out in the 2021. I think I was like 3 pictures over to the right. If they had just slid, I would have been in the Guinness Book of World Records, which I think you might have some info for this year.
Yeah, this year at Nationals, we're going to try to break a world record, and a lot of people can get in on it. We're going for the world's longest beard chain, and so everybody's going to take their beard and then go out to the side and then connect it with here, see if I can't get in there, but connect it in a row. The current world record is 62 feet, and we're pretty sure we can take that out.
Can mustaches, get in there?
Yeah, I believe so. We'll have to double check on that, but yeah, Guinness World Records. You never know where the photos are going to end up. So you'll just be sitting at home after 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're in like New York Times or like a New Yorker or like just something crazy.
Even local news.
Local news is super. If you win at Nationals, you can call your local TV station, local newspaper, and be like, "Hey, boom, I just won. I'm the national champion of whatever category you just won." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll send a reporter down."
Even if you don't win first place, like I got second place last year for Nationals, and my local paper did a whole spread on me.
They want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's got like a sport element to it, a competitive element to it, an art component to it, beauty, like a health and beauty component to it. And it just hits a lot of these check boxes that some of this media are looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, Yeah, if you win, definitely reach out to local media, and before you know it, there'll be a videographer at your house.
Yeah. Or me, yeah, like me, I met at a coffee shop and they were like, tell us the whole story.
We
What
want to hear
got
the
you
whole
into it?
story.
Yeah. Yeah. What got you into it? What was it like?
Yeah, I've
You
been
know,
interviewed
and
so many times; it's crazy.
yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we have more on the make your own beard or craft beard. So there's like an artistic. What can you
Right.
make a mustache out of? What can you make a beard out of? Natalie Johnston, last year at Nationals, for her creative beard, it hooked on, I think, behind her head, and it looked like a beard made out of leaves, right? And it went down, and it was like a garden. And I think it had lights in it. And she had a working fountain that when she turned it on, the little statue peed the water out into a little dish. I mean, it was absolutely stellar to see that creation.
Oh yeah. I was sitting there one time. I thought I saw the entirety of the craft beard, and then all of a sudden somebody hits the button and bubbles start pouring out of
Oh
the
my
top of
goodness!
it,
Yeah,
like all over the judges. It's
yeah,
like, dude,
yeah.
ridiculous.
I mean, I love beards and everything, but when you see like the freestyle, some of the creativeness out of the freestyle, whether it's partial beard, whether it's full beard, whether it's the crap beard or the mustaches, but when you see like these ladies come out, and I mean, they put their heart and soul in it, and you can't tell that it's not real. You're like, oh my gosh, man. I cannot think of the lady's name, but she did the character from Rudolph with the crooked
Oh
mustache,
yeah, that was
Yukon
awesome.
Cornelius, I think it was. And I'm like,
Cornelius. Yeah,
yeah, I'm like, oh my God.
yeah, it
Somebody
was
asked how
brilliant.
long we've been growing our facial hair. Me, my journey started December 2018. I have had five major trims just off of the ends.
2009 for me, in this current form, was the last time that I was totally shaved, had a totally shaved face.
All right, well, we should probably wrap this up. Is there anything you want to say in conclusion
I
about?
really like your mustache.
I like your beard,
Oh, thanks.
right? Yeah, I had thought about letting it grow much longer, but my favorite mustache to make is the Imperial. And like you said, once it gets so long, I think the last time I trimmed it, it was up above my forehead. And I'm a huge fan of my own mustache being tapered, very tapered, so thick to a thin point. And once it gets too long for me, it's like the same thickness for too long, and I'm like, I don't like it like that. But I'm gonna see. I don't know what I'm bringing to nationals yet. I mean, I've seen. I think there's going to be at least six guys I know of competing in my category, but I may switch out to natural. I don't know. We'll see. But
Sweet.
so I'm excited to see that, and I'm kind of like joking around, like, yeah, I'm not going to show you what I'm bringing yet, because there's some beautiful mustaches,
You got to
and
keep that strategy in the back pocket till the
yeah,
last second.
I'm going to
See,
be
like
like
that's what,
Arnold used to go around and get in guys' heads and just
yeah,
mess with them,
yeah. Pumping
and
iron.
that's what, yeah,
You should do a documentary, pumping curling irons.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
That's going to be your documentary when they make it.
Oh yeah, and if like I was saying out there a little bit earlier, if you want to compete or you want to see a competition and there's not one, there's nothing that says you can't put one together yourself. A wine festival down the road from me, we're getting ready to do the third year of their beard and mustache competition. I get all the prizes for them. And it's just a great time. We go out, and I think my favorite part is there's a young man that can sing the national anthem, and I'm like, I'll do it, but you got to have him kick it off by singing it. And I mean, it puts a lump in my throat every time.
That's
So
awesome.
it's really
Yeah,
awesome.
like a lot of ways to win, like I
Yeah.
said. So,
So plug nationals, the National Beard and Mustache Championship. You do not have to pre-qualify to get there. You can go there. You do have to pass pre-judging, which is just to make sure you're in the right category. It is going to be in Casper, Wyoming, along with the booze, bacon, and beers, right? It's going to be November 12th, but November 11th will be the exhibition contest. A lot of fun.
Any questions, they can head to nationalbeardchampionships.com.
Yep, definitely, definitely. So thank you so much, MJ, for coming on here. I definitely wanted to pick your brain. I did have some questions, and I have my little cheat sheet here, and I wanted to make sure that I asked you the questions that people asked me. A lot of them were very good, and I didn't know a lot of this until I did start asking, because I was like, usually what I've seen is the mustaches go first, and then it starts going into the beards, because there's a lot more beards. It's usually like natural mustache, and then it'll be some kind of styled mustache, and then it goes from there.
Categories might get shuffled this year, I'll tell you that.
Okay. But yeah, I was always thinking, well, I'll do natural, and then I'll try to style it real quick and do another one, you know, but it's one. Some of the online ones, you can do multiple categories. So I, like on an online one, I'll do a natural and then a style. But all of the money generally goes to a well-deserving charity. I think we did a food bank in 2020 and raised a lot of good money that year.
Sweet. I'd like to hear it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, MJ, for spending the last hour and a half with me. It's always a pleasure.
Pleasure is all mine.
That is MJ Johnson, the world's most recognizable facial hair. Just look up MJ Johnson beard, and you'll see a lot of his different facial hair. I, of course, am Bob, and this is Elliot Norris, my mustache. Wishing you guys a wonderfully bearded day. Have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. I love all of you guys. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye now.